Story this hour. Train services on Cape Town's Central Line remain suspended and commuters will need to find alternative means of transport. The service was suspended towards the end of last year due to increased vandalism. Unions say their drivers won't return to work until the situation is resolved. ENCA's Peladi Setusa is at the Cape Town station for us this morning. Peladi, a very good morning to you once again. Can you give us some idea of what the impact of this boycott has been? And also with schools opening tomorrow, will this have any impact on returning school pupils?
Morning, Vika. So yes, like I said earlier to Dan, I mean the impact, as we can see, is very clear. There are a lot less feet coming out from the station. I mean, usually this time it's very, very busy, but a few people trickling in and out of the station this morning. And I'm joined now by Tony Ehrenreich from COSATU in the region, just to give us a bit of more detail on what the impact has been on commuters and workers. Mr. Ehrenreich, as you heard, there's a boycott on the Central Line. How have commuters been affected thus far in the past week?
The Central Line is the busiest line. Khayelitsha and Mitchell's Plain are our most populous areas in Cape Town. The most commuters depend on it, and Metro Rail has done nothing to make sure that alternatives are provided or that the problem is resolved. COSATU for the longest time, along with other organizations, have been protesting about the safety on trains. UNTU has never joined COSATU in those protests. Now they're shutting down an entire line for a legitimate issue. The question of safety of commuters and safety of staff is important and it must be addressed. But you can't shut down the line for that, because the reality is you're never going to be able to solve that problem 100%. You're always going to have random, isolated instances. We've got to work together to fix the entire safety situation on trains. But it seems to me that UNTU is busy with a political agenda. Because just earlier in the week, we had a situation where a young man was killed on the Southern Line. They didn't shut down the Southern Line because of that, and that was criminally related. So clearly UNTU was picking certain issues. We've seen Metro Rail's response to it. When the problem was on the Southern Line, they put in place buses to transport those commuters. They're not giving the same regard for poorer commuters in Khayelitsha and Mitchell's Plain. So what we have seems to be a political battle playing out in Metro Rail, in the province and nationally. It's being sided by different organizations. The commuters are being disadvantaged. The issue of safety is the right one. We're working together to make sure we solve it. But inconveniencing the commuters to this extent, where people's going to lose their jobs, factories are going to close down, is not the best way to deal with it.
Now, Mr. Ehrenreich, you mentioned people are going to lose their jobs. I mean, we have a situation where the bus service, Golden Arrow, is being offered after peak hours. I mean, what kind of worker gets to work after 9, 10:30 even?
But this just shows how Metro Rail adds insult to injury. If workers get to work after 8 o'clock or 7:30, they're disciplined and they lose money. What's the use of giving them access to the bus service after 9 o'clock? Then they get to work at 10:30. That is really nothing to address their problems. And this is after workers have already bought their monthly tickets. So workers enter a contract with Metro Rail by paying their money. Metro Rail doesn't honor that contract. And the problem here is bad management. This issue about an illegal strike, about industrial action that inconvenience commuters to that extent, where the industrial action can never solve the problem, and we want to find different ways to solve it. That's unacceptable, and it's a management problem when they don't address that urgently. As COSATU, we're calling on the Minister of Transport nationally to get involved to solve the crisis in Metro Rail and in PRASA, because it's bad management up to the level of the board that allows these crises to continue. So the Minister must step in. We must find a solution not only in the trains but in the buses and in the taxis, so that they can assist with a comprehensive transport plan when we have problems in any one of the modes of transport. But the way this crisis is being dealt with is unacceptable, and there's got to be action taken against both the way in which it's been attended to as well as the management of Metro Rail.
So, Mr. Ehrenreich, you have no faith in the meeting that's going to happen between PRASA and the union this week. Do you think that'll yield no sort of tangible results?
No meeting will solve the problem of crime that we have in the country and that we have in Cape Town. There's always going to be criminals trying to take an opportunity to rob somebody. That's the reality. They're robbing police officers of their firearms. How can you stop them from robbing a security guard? What we've got to do is make the country safer and make the environment safer, and that will make these instances safer. We feel for the drivers and the staff of Metro Rail. They're our members also. but so do we feel for the commuters, and we've got to find a way to get actions that contribute to a solution. This action makes the problem worse, and it exacerbates the transport crisis of poor people without taking us one step closer to a security solution. And that's the problem. And Metro Rail, this service has not been running for more than a week. Metro Rail management has not been able to address it. Clearly, they're inept and unable to deal with the problem, and workers must suffer in the meantime. We need an urgent intervention by the ministry and by the presidency if our ministers are not urgently responding to these challenges.
That is Tony Ehrenreich from COSATU saying that crime is something that shouldn't, hold back bus drivers from doing their work, or even security guards who work for Metro Rail. He has no faith, as he said, in the meetings that will happen this week, and says the root of the problem lies in Metro Rail and PRASA's ineptitude on not just this line, but the province's lines.
Continue to monitor that situation, especially with that meeting expected to begin tomorrow. Thank you very much, ENCA's Peladi Setusa.